You know, if you've been following the news lately, it can feel like everything is happening all at once. You hear about a massive arms deal over here, a nuclear standoff over there, and then some frantic peace talks somewhere else. It's a lot, and honestly, the pieces don't always seem to fit together.
But what if we're looking at this the wrong way? What if this isn't just a series of separate, random events, but one massive, interconnected story? To really get a handle on what's going on, I think we need a new way to look at it, a new framework.
And that right there, that's our framework for today. We're going to look at the global security landscape as three huge tectonic plates. First, there's this incredible surge in conventional rearmament. Second, the collapse of nuclear stability. And third, the immediate, raw flashpoint of the war in Ukraine. Okay, let's dive right in.
So our first plate, this one is all about tangible, hard power. It's a story of military hardware, of industrial capacity, and a truly historic arms buildup that's happening across Europe right now. And right at the center of all of this is one country making a very, very big statement.
It all starts with this number. The United States has just awarded a contract to Boeing for nearly $4.7 billion. Now, that's a massive figure on its own, but it's what they're buying that is a total game changer.
That contract is for 96 AH-64E Apache attack helicopters, and they're all heading to Poland. Now, just to be crystal clear, this is the largest single order for the Apache helicopter ever placed by a country outside of the United States.
I mean, the scale here is just staggering. By 2028, Poland is set to have more Apache helicopters than the UK, Germany, and France combined. This makes them the largest operator outside the U.S. Army. This isn't just about bolstering defenses. This is a fundamental shift in European conventional power. It gives a single nation on NATO's eastern flank a level of battlefield dominance that is just unprecedented.
But look, this is so much more than just a simple purchase. Because it's a foreign military sales contract, it means deep strategic integration. We're talking Polish crews training to U.S. Army standards, ensuring total interoperability from day one. It basically locks Poland right into the American military ecosystem, and at the same time, an offset agreement is going to build up its own industrial base. And Poland's shopping spree isn't happening in a vacuum, not at all. It's part of this massive surge across the entire European defense sector. As you can see, turnover jumped almost 14% in just 1 year. And what's driving it? Well, it's a continent-wide push to rearm in the face of the war in Ukraine.
Okay, we have this enormous conventional arms buildup. Tanks, helicopters, you name it. But here's the terrifying catch. This is all happening just as the global agreements, the ones designed to stop a regional war from becoming an existential one, are starting to completely fall apart.
And that brings us to our second tectonic plate, and you can see how this tension builds. We're talking about the rapid, frankly terrifying erosion of the nuclear arms control framework that's kept the world from the brink for decades.
The rhetoric lately has been, well, it's been alarming. The White House has ordered the Pentagon to prepare to resume nuclear weapons testing, and in what is a chillingly symmetrical response, President Putin has ordered Russian officials to do the exact same thing, citing an obligation to take, quote, reciprocal measures.
And what makes this so incredibly dangerous is the history. The U.S. hasn't done an explosive nuclear test since 1992. Russia, not since 1991. For over 30 years, that moratorium has been a critical firewall against a new arms race. And now, all this talk is happening just months before the New START treaty. The very last arms control agreement between the two powers is set to expire.
Now, it's important to get the nuance here. There's a big treaty that bans the big boom, what's called a supercritical test. That's technically still in place. Both sides claim they'd only conduct subcritical tests. Think of these as diagnostic experiments that don't produce a nuclear yield, so they don't technically violate the treaty.
But here's the crucial point. The rhetoric itself is profoundly destabilizing. It kicks off what analysts call an action-reaction cycle, this dangerous feedback loop where just the threat of action leads to real escalation. And the experts are pretty clear on this. A return to full-scale testing wouldn't really benefit the US or Russia much, since they have decades of data. Who would it benefit? Emerging nuclear powers like China and India, who have way less testing experience.
And all this brings us to the third plate. This is the immediate reality, the place where all this tension is playing out in real time, the war in Ukraine. And here we're seeing this brutal collision of military action on the ground and just frantic, high-stakes diplomacy.
We're on day 1,377 of the war, and the battlefield is shifting. Russia is claiming to have captured the key logistics hub of Pokrovsk and the city of Volchansk.
their largest territorial gains in over a year. And just hours ago, a ballistic missile strike on Dnipro killed 4 people and wounded dozens more. It's this brutal reality that is driving a very urgent new diplomatic push.
So there's a new U.S. drafted peace plan on the table, but it is hugely controversial. The initial proposal reportedly focused on one thing, just ending the fighting, even suggesting amnesty for actions committed during the war. Well, for European leaders, that's a hard red line. They insist that any deal cannot, under any circumstances, allow Vladimir Putin to escape accountability for alleged war crimes.
And while all these talks are going on, we absolutely cannot forget about Russia's most important strategic partner. Just as this is all unfolding, China's top diplomat, Wang was in Moscow for the 20th round of strategic security consultations. This is not a courtesy call. This is explicit strategic alignment. This is them coordinating their moves before, during, and after any U.S.-led negotiations.
Okay, so we've looked at these 3 powerful forces, right? A massive conventional arms race, a decaying nuclear framework, and an active war that's driving some desperate diplomacy. Now let's see how they all collide.
This right here, this is the central tension of our time. On one hand, you've got regional powers like Poland building up their conventional military strength at a rate we've never seen before. And on the other hand, the global frameworks, the guardrails designed to manage existential risk and prevent nuclear war, are being actively torn down.
So the big takeaway is this: these aren't separate stories. They are 2 incredibly powerful trends on a direct collision course. This frantic race for regional security is happening at the exact moment that the foundations of global security are crumbling away.
Which leaves us with a final, and I think vital, question for you to think about. In a world where those nuclear guardrails are gone, where the treaty frameworks have all expired, what is the real value of that conventional buildup? If the ultimate backstop of strategic stability fails, do those 96 Apaches still matter? Or are they, paradoxically, the only thing left?